Hello and welcome. I am Marisha. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm excited to create two charming felt bookmarks featuring Spellbinders Cheeky Apple and Sunflower Dye. Whether you're making these bookmarks for yourself or gifting them to a book loving loved one, these handmade bookmarks add such a joyful touch to any read. To begin, I use the sunflower dyes to cut all of the layers from Benzie Design felt. This felt cuts beautifully and holds its shape well, which is key for layering designs like this. Here's a tip. Layer your felt on top of a thin sheet of cardstock before die cutting for an even cleaner edge, especially on intricate petals. Here's a helpful tip I use to stay organized with my embroidery floss. I like to wrap my floss around plastic bobbins and tuck the original color tag right underneath the thread. That way, if I ever run out, I know exactly what color I used and can reorder it without any guesswork. Also, I love using a clear storage sectioned container like this one so I can easily find the color I need at a glance. It keeps my creative space tidy and inspiring. Now it's time to thread my needle. When prepping my embroidery floss, I separate the strands from the center outward to avoid tangling. This method keeps everything neat and makes it much easier to manage, especially when working with multiple strands. Once separated, I'll thread my needle and knot the end. Taking a few extra moments here saves a lot of time and frustration later. Here's a bonus tip. If you're having issues threading your needle and you're working with stubborn floss, try lightly dampening the end before threading. It makes it easier to glide right through. Now that I'm done threading my needle, it is time to start stitching together the pieces. So first, I am stitching the back layer that will adhere the bookmark together, which I'll demonstrate later in this tutorial. So what I did was I used the circle die for the center and I die cut a piece of yellow felt to match the flower. I'm using a basic running stitch around the edge of the circle, and I'll continue to do so until I am finished. Here's a fun backstory. I've been stitching since I was a little girl. It all started with sewing buttons on my clothes. Nothing fancy, just fixing what needed fixing. But somewhere along the way, I fell in love with the process. And I find it to be very therapeutic for me. There's something peaceful about slowing down, letting my hands work, and watching something beautiful come to life. So, whether it's a felt project, cross stitching, or even practicing my embroidery stitches, it's the little things like this that bring me the most joy. All right, my friend, now that I'm done stitching the circle for the back layer of the bookmark, I will now line up the layers of the flower and I'll begin stitching from the back towards the front. I am using a simple running stitch for this project as well. You can use a blanket stitch if you want a more decorative look, but I like how the running stitch blends in while still adding that hand touched detail. One of the things I really love about this die set is that it already includes the stitching holes, which makes everything so much easier. I don't have to guess where to place my needle or stress about lining things up. The holes guide me as I stitch, and it helps the layers line up perfectly every time. It saves time, reduces frustration, and honestly, it just makes stitching more enjoyable, especially for those who are just starting out on their sewing journey. Here's the final result of the stitched sunflower. I will now repeat the same step with the leaf, and then it's time for the next step. Now it's time to assemble the bookmark. I took a piece of 15-inch black elastic and measured it to fit the book that I'll be using. And I'm using a glue gun to adhere the layers together. So first, oh, there goes Molly at the end, her little ear. My babies are always in the craft room. So first, I will adhere the leaf to the back of the sunflower first, and then I will adhere the elastic. Now, friend, you can use, instead of a glue gun, if you want to use E6000 or fabric glue, you can try using that as well when you create this project. This project was very quick and easy to create. You can not only create a bookmark, you can create a headband, a purse or backpack charm, or even a keychain. This would actually make a fun gift to give to your loved one. Now that I'm done adhering the elastic, I will now adhere the back layer, making this project almost complete. I will now create the center portion and then adhere it to the center of the flower. And just like that, my friend, a fun, quick, and easy bookmark that you can create. I also created the Apple bookmark that you see as well. I love Spellbinders. They have so many fun dies that you can use to create fun stitched projects. Love them. Thank you so much for joining me on today. I hope this tutorial inspired you to create a stitched project. If you give this tutorial a try, I'd love to see what you create. Tag me at the Diary of Belle Rose. I thank you in advance for subscribing, clicking the thumbs up button, and the notification bell so you never miss out on new tutorials. Until next time, keep creating and keep shining. I'm sending you love and hugs, my friend. Please take care.